Hi, everybody. Captain Lou here with another edition of the ACHA Power Play live here on 12 Ounce Sports. Of course, you can catch us each and every week on our YouTube channel, which is, of course, 12 Ounce Sports, where we invite you to subscribe to our channel, get all of our programming. You can look back at previous archived ACHA Power Plays and take a look at some of the interviews that we've had throughout the year. Season 9 winding down. Can you believe it? We are less than a month away from puck drop of the 2025 national tournament, starting March 13th with Division One, going all the way through to the women's D2 championships on March 25th. So we've got so much to talk about here with that in the coming weeks. It is getting down to crunch time. And the first order of business when it comes to talking about the national tournament are the Division II regional matchups, and we're going to go through all of those here momentarily as the regional pairings are set. We had some auto bids out in the West that bumped a couple of teams, but we are as conference bids, I should say. Now we're down to 8 teams that are already qualified for the national tournament out of Division II. We're going to go through all of that, the top 2 teams in each region, and we're going to get you set for all of the matchups in all of the divisions or all of the regions in Division II as well. We're going to go through the rankings, the latest rankings that we've got in each of the other 4 divisions. And we're going to take a look back at a couple of interviews that we've had. I want to take you back to Cooper Olsen, our interview with him. He went over to the World University Games in Italy. It was a great conversation with Cooper, the goalie for Purdue Northwest. And also we're going to take a look back at our interview with Taylor Costello from the Eastern Michigan Eagles women's D2 program. They finished their regular season undefeated, and now they wait to hear their fate if they are going to qualify for the national tournament. Not too bad of a start for them, undefeated in their first year. All freshman girls or women on that team. It's just it's a great story. So we're going to go back to listen to that interview that we had with Taylor coming up momentarily. So, all right. So that's what we've got on the docket tonight. We said it. The road to St. Louis is less than a month away. March 13th. It's a Thursday. We kick off with the men's tournament. So it's going to be at the Centene Ice Center in St. Louis. It's a great venue for the national tournament. All 5 divisions are going to be there, as we mentioned. And if you're looking for some great hockey to watch, make sure that you check it out. If you're there in person in the St. Louis area during that time frame, highly recommend that you check it out. And of course, if you can't make it, watch us on Flow TV. I'll be down there for the tournament again this year. We're bringing you live updates daily in the morning on 12 Ounce Sports, an extravagant few minutes. They'll be live from the Centene Center. So we'll keep an eye on that throughout the tournament. Really looking forward to that. Get to brush off the play-by-play mic, and as well as I'll be down in Evansville coming up this weekend too with the D2 Southeast Regional Tournament, the qualifiers. And I'm just beyond blessed to be able to be a part of that, because those are win or go home, sudden death, if you will. And if it's anything like the Central Regional qualifiers last year, it's going to be one heck of a weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So but we're going to go through all of those matchups. We're going to take a quick break here momentarily. We'll go through those matchups. Then we'll bring you that interview, our first interview that we've got here this afternoon, tonight. So, again, welcome to Tuesday, February the 18th here on the ACHA Power Play as we get you set for St. Louis and the national tournament. All right, we'll be back right after this. As we mentioned, we're going to take a brief time out. When we return, we're going to go through those Division II matchups in the regionals, and we'll give you their rankings, obviously, and more right here on the ACHA Power Play live on 12 Ounce Sports. Buddy, Captain Lou here from the Extravaganza, which airs live every Wednesday night, 7 o'clock Eastern time, right here on 12 Ounce Sports. Hey, are you a fan of hockey? How about the Stanley Cup? More importantly, how about the Detroit Red Wings? Well, if you are, I've got just the giveaway for you. Keith Gabe, former longtime reporter for the Detroit Free Press and the Dallas Morning News. He covered that Red Wing run in the late 90s and early 2000s, and his latest book is out, The Grind Line, talking about the heart and soul of that Red Wings team. I've got a copy for you. All you got to do is email me your favorite Grind Line story, Red Wings story, Stanley Cup. I don't care. If you want to get in on the drawing, go to sweetlou1965@yahoo.com. Follow me on X or Facebook. It's right there on the bottom of the screen. It's a great book. It's a great read. Had a chance to talk with Keith Gabe about it on the extravaganza. You can see that interview archived on 12 Ounce Sports on our YouTube page. So that's right. The Grind Line. It could be yours. Just enter. Check it out on the bottom of the screen for your way to enter. Right here on 12 Ounce Sports. It's a great book. It's a great read. I know you'll enjoy it. All right. Welcome back, everybody, to the ACHA Power Play. And yes, that was a fun conversation. You can see that on 12 Ounce Sports on our YouTube channel, our interview with Keith Gabe. And if, like I said, if you like Red Wings hockey, or if you're a fan of the Stanley Cup runs or anything, it's a fun book, the heart and soul of that Red Wings team. And enter to win a copy of that book, Keith Gabe's book, The Grind Line. It is available wherever you find your books too as well. All right, back to the ACHA Power Play here on 12 Ounce Sports. Glad you could be with us here tonight as we roll along, as we mentioned, about 3 weeks away from puck drop, 23 days from puck drop for the national tournament. It is going to be here before you know it. We've talked about it all year, and we talk about it each week. The first taste maybe of getting yourself ready for national tournament action, and that, of course, is the D2 regional ranking, or the regional tournaments. Now, they're the only division now that has divisional qualifiers. It used to be D3 had those, but the amount of teams didn't necessitate that anymore. So now it's just the D2 regionals, and the regionals are all set. The pairings are ready to go as this weekend they're going to happen. The West Regional is Thursday through Saturday, but the rest of them are Friday through Sunday. So without any further ado, let's get you set up here for these regional matchups. And the first one on the docket that I want to go through, let's go through the Central Regional. And as mentioned, Lindenwood is the #1 team in the Central Regional, and that means Wisconsin gets the #2 seed. So those two teams, they're automatically in. They don't have to worry about qualifying. They've got their tickets punched for St. Louis. As now they're gonna wait to find out who the other two teams are in their Central Regional. Now again, how it works is 2 teams in each region get the automatic berth, the #1 and #2 teams, obviously. Then it's 3 through 14 participate in these regional matchups. 3 through 6, they get an opening day bye in that 3-day tournament. So they get the opportunity to only have to win 2 games to get into the national tournament. So in that central matchup, right out of the chute, first game is going to be Sioux College, the 7th-ranked team, against Trine University, ranked 14th. That ought to be a good one. Concordia of Wisconsin, they're ranked 8th. They're going to take on Kevin Brooks and his University of Iowa Hawkeye teams. They're ranked 13th. Then it's going to be Michigan State University taking on Arkansas, 9 versus 12. And then it's going to be Minnesota Crookston taking on Adrian College, the 10 versus the 11 seed. So that's what we're looking at for those in the Central Regional. So again, Adrian and Crookston, they kick off the 10:30 Central Time, and then Arkansas and Michigan State at 1:30, Iowa at Wisconsin at 4:30, and then Trine and Sioux College, they wrap it up at 7:30. So that's the Central Regional matchups in the regional tournament as well. So in the Northeast region, the teams with the auto bids, Army gets the #1 seed, and it's going to be Connecticut College getting the #2 seed out of the East. So congratulations to them. They've got their tickets punched to the national tournament. The other matchups start out with, see if I can bring this up real quick. In the Northeast, you've got #7 UMass Amherst. They're going to take on Millersville, #14. So again, those Amherst, they were winners a couple of years ago in the national tournament. God, it's been a couple of years ago already. Yes, indeed it has. #8 Boston College going to take on #13 Vermont. Then it's going to be Sacred Heart at 9 versus Boston University at 12. And then Holy Cross, #10, taking on Providence, #11. I want to go back real quick. I forgot to mention these, and I'm sorry about that. The other teams in the Central region, Minnesota got the 3 seed. So they're going to take on the lowest remaining seed. Then St. Thomas, They're the 4 seed. They're going to take on the second lowest remaining seed. Then Marion is at number 5. They're going to take on the highest remaining seed, or the second highest remaining seed, I beg your pardon. Then Maryville at 6. They're going to take on the highest remaining seed. So that's kind of how that works. I forgot to mention those 4 teams in the Central region. Now back to the Northeast matchups. It's going to be, again, Northeastern finishing 3rd, a mainstay in the national tournament. I don't know how many times we've said it. They've got the 3 seed. They're going to take on the lowest remaining seed winner. Could it be Millersville at number 14? You never know. There will be some upsets in these regional matchups. There always are. Just ask Iowa 2 years ago when they made it all the way to the finals in Division II. Bentley is the number 4 seed. They're going to take on the second lowest seed. And then RPI is number 5, and New Hampshire is at number 6. So the schedule for Friday in the Northeast region, Providence College is going to take on Holy Cross at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Then Sacred Heart against Boston University at 2. Then it's going to be Vermont versus Boston College at 5:15. And then Millersville will take on Amherst at 8:15. So that's the regional matchups there. So now we'll head to the Southeast region. This one's going to be in Evansville, Indiana, and it's going to be Louisville against North Carolina, and I'll see if I can get that up. First, it's going to be Louisville against North Carolina, the number 10 versus the number 11 seed. Then it's going to be number 9 Indiana against number 12 Michigan. The defending national champions, Indiana Hoosiers, they're going to have to take the tough road to get back to St. Louis to defend their title. They're going to have to win 3 games in 3 days. Ohio versus Cincinnati. That's going to be a huge matchup there. 8 versus 13. And Miami versus Rider, 7 through 14. So the way that the schedule is going to be for them in as far as the times go, it's going to be Louisville and North Carolina kicking things off at 12:30. Then at 4 o'clock, it's going to be Indiana versus Michigan. Then at 5:30, it's going to be Ohio against Cincinnati. And then at 7:30, these are all Central Time, by the way, in Evansville, it's going to be Miami against Rider. And then how that's going to work starting Saturday, it's going to be North Carolina State taking on the highest remaining seed at 7:45 Eastern Time. Then it's going to be Kentucky, the 3 seed, taking on the lowest remaining seed. Then Penn State, they're going to be taking on the second lowest remaining seed. And then starting off on Saturday morning, it's going to be, on Saturday morning, it is going to be Virginia Tech taking on the second highest remaining seed. So that is your Southeast regional matchups. And the number 1 seeds punching their tickets already, Florida Gulf Coast and Liberty, 2 teams that always seem to be 1 and 2 in Division II in their region. Both of those teams looking to get back to the top. Again, when you talk about national tournament participants, it seems like you can almost always pencil in Florida Gulf Coast in Division II and Liberty for that matter. So we'll welcome them down in St. Louis as well. Finally, in the West, the auto bids are Montana State and Utah. Montana State has had just an absolutely unbelievable run this year. They've got the number 1 seed. Utah gets the number 2 seed. So that means the matchups now in the West region. Now, these are going to be Thursday through Saturday. In those matchups right out of the chute, it's going to be number 7 Utah State against number 14 Washington. Then it's going to be Arizona State at 8 against Texas Christian at 13. Then Texas against California, 9 versus 12. And then Grand Canyon against Montana, 10 versus 11. And so how that's going to work on Saturday, Montana and Grand Canyon, they're going to start at 10 o'clock Mountain Time. Then it's going to be Cal Berkeley against Texas at 10:15 Mountain Time. And then TCU against Arizona State at 1:45 Mountain Time. And then Washington and Utah State at 2 o'clock Mountain Time. Staggered times out there. So that's on Thursday. So the teams that will be playing on Friday, getting a bye in the opening round in the regionals, It's going to be Colorado. They're going to take on the highest remaining seed. Providence, the University of Providence, they're the 5 seed. So they're going to take on the second highest remaining seed. Then it's going to be Weber State. They're the 4th seed. They're going to take on the second lowest remaining seed. And Metro State Denver, they're the 3rd seed. So they're going to get the lowest remaining seed. So that's the other beauty of this regional tournament, is that they reseed in those first couple of days. So, it is a bracketed tournament, but the 3 and the 4 seeds get that benefit of getting the lowest remaining seed. So as I mentioned, you're always going to see upsets in these regional tournaments. It happened in Grand Rapids last year in the Central region. It happens everywhere. Iowa was a 9 seed. They went all the way to the championship game. I can see a double-digit seed this year potentially getting into the national tournament and then making hay, playing on house money. That's usually how it goes with these tournaments. So all available on Flow Hockey. If you're going to be, let's take a look at where these regionals are going to be at, by the way. The Central Regional is going to be at the Onalaska Omni Center. That's in La Crosse, Wisconsin. The Northeast region is going to be at the International Skating Center of Connecticut. That's in Simsbury, Connecticut. The Southeast Regional, that's where I'm going to be at. I'm going to be bringing you all the play-by-play of that this weekend, is at the Swander Ice Arena in Evansville, Indiana. And then the West Regional is going to be at the Ice Center at the Promenade, and that's in Westminster, Colorado. Now, again, the West Regional is Thursday through Saturday. The other 3 are on Sunday. Make sure that you check out achahockey.org for all the latest. They'll have all the scores updated, and we'll have the brackets throughout the weekend updated as they go. And so it's a lot of fun. All the games will be on Flow Hockey TV, and you can watch as many as you want. You can watch them archived, whatever. So it's going to be a fun weekend of hockey. The Division II regionals, this is the fun part. This kind of gives you a taste for the national tournament. It's win or go home time for the D2 regionals. Once they get through the regionals, the other 2 seeds in each region, and all 16 teams are going to be pitted in pool play, so they'll be guaranteed at least 3 games at the national tournament. But again, this D2 tournament, these regionals are all single elimination, win or go home. It's that simple. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to take a walk back in time and take a listen to our interview with Cooper Olson, the goaltender for Purdue Northwest, talk about his fun time over with the World University Games over in Italy. You're watching the ACHA Power Play. It's right here on 12 Ounce Sports.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Let's bring him in. He's the goaltender, starting goaltender for Purdue Northwest, the Pride. They, like you said, made a very successful run in the national tournament, getting to the quarterfinals. And, of course, he was with the USA Select team over in Torino, Italy. Cooper Olson. Cooper, thanks for taking time out tonight. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? Thank you very much for having me on the show tonight.
Oh, hey, the pleasure's all ours. We appreciate you coming on, and I'm doing great. My first question to you is your jet lag done? Are you back to somewhat normal here back in at Purdue Northwest?
Yeah, I'm ready to roll. Got practice going with the guys tomorrow morning. Jet lag wasn't too bad for me neither there or here. I'm a big sleeper. Whenever I get the chance, I get great sleep. So I never seem to have that issue. But I think Reamer's having a little bit of trouble with that too, and we're working on it.
Well, as funny as I talked with Gary Astalis Saturday, your coach over there, and he said you guys got in Thursday night. You had practice Friday morning, and I thought, oh my gosh, it would have took me being an old guy probably a week to get over that.
Yeah, no, it was tough. We worked really hard out in Albany, had some great practices put together, but it was, we were running on all cylinders right out of the gate. So the guys had no problem sleeping on the plane on the way over. So I think that helped a lot.
So tell me, Cooper, we'll run through the timeline. When did you find out, and how did you find out we're going to be heading over with the guys over to Torino?
So I actually got the call from G when I was at my internship midsummer. Couldn't even pick a month, but midsummer, working for my internship, got the call, was at work, and went into a separate room, and G gave me the heads up. He's like, Coop, we got this spot for you if you're willing to, hop over the pond with us and take part in the tournament. I, no questions asked. I was in right from the get-go. Took a little bit longer till I found out that I was going with two of my teammates, Hobbs and Reamer. They found out closer to our season. But yeah, I immediately called my parents. I had a couple coworkers watching the games while I was over there, so they had a ball watching. But yeah, super cool.
So then you found out, and then you started to prepare for it. And you guys, you said you were in Albany. You had practice here in the States together. How much practice time did you guys get as a team before you went over to Italy?
So we were in Albany for about 3 days. We had about 1 to 2 skates per day. So 2-hour skates were in there. I'd probably say somewhere around maybe close to 8 hours, 8 to 10 hours of skating. Plus we had a scrimmage while we were over there. We were playing, who did we play? NCAA D3 team for our scrimmage before we hopped over there too. So that was a huge little tune-up game. We got a little overtime win out there. So that, love getting the little comeback win going for the boys as we were on our way over there. It was great.
Well, there's nothing like overtime games. They're fun for us to watch, but as a goaltender, when you're facing an overtime, well, I got to ask you this. I got to call your scoreless tie against Calvin.
Yep.
What have you ever been a part of a scoreless tie before?
That's a first for me.
Okay.
That's a first for me. No, it was definitely weird. It was, great goalie battle that we had going on there that night. Had some big saves on both sides. I loved it. Like, it was great. Obviously you want to see your boys net a couple goals, but as a goalie, you're like, hey, I'm doing my part, keeping the puck out of the net, and whatever happens. But yeah, no, it was weird.
And not to belabor that game, but it was, some people will see a scoreless tie and they'll think, what did they do? Just skate around all game. I mean, you guys were standing on your heads, both of you.
Yeah.
You and Adam. And it was such a joy to watch from afar.
Yeah, no, and even like all the way to the shootout too, Yossi was making some huge saves, and super fun to see, that kind of competition going on in the creases. I love it.
So getting back to your preparation for Torino, you found out, obviously, you played the regular season, but what other kind of stuff, like make sure you got your passport and all that stuff in line? What kind of extra preparation do you have to do for something like that?
Well, so I'd say the toughest part was packing for goalies. We had, a bunch of stuff. So they ended up shipping out 2 player bags for me. So I had to throw my usually goalie pads when you're carrying stuff into the rink or taking stuff on bus trips. You throw the pads over the shoulder and you have an exercise goalie bag. But we had to throw all of our gear into 2 player bags. So I had my pads in one bag along with my chest protector, and then goalie mask, skates, knee pads. That was all in the other player bag. And then had the sticks as well. So I was traveling to, get to Albany, and I've got these overweight bags, and they're also, I have a ton of bags too. So it was a little bit of trouble to make that all work out. I ended up getting my bag up to Adrian actually, and the guys drove my luggage bag out there to Albany to help me out on some fees. So that was a big one. Getting the adapters for, their plugins out there obviously they don't have the normal plugins that we have here for charging, laptops, phones.
Really?
Yeah. And then, I'm at school right now, so I might as well bring it up, but just, keeping posted on professors too. So we missed 2 weeks. P&W missed 2 weeks. I know a couple schools only missed 1 week or not any weeks, depending on their schedule. But just keeping posted with the professors and letting them know my whereabouts, and I'll be back the second week and ready to catch up.
What? See, that's fascinating. Who would have thought that you'd have to worry about packing a charger to go for your phone or your computer? I mean, that would have been the least of my worries. I never would have thought of that. I'm glad that you were able to come up with that before you left.
Yeah, I had the pleasure to actually do a European trip with a couple of my buddies this summer.
Okay.
So we flew into Dublin, went down to Amsterdam, we went to Munich, Prague, and just had an outstanding trip there. It was a 2-week trip, so I learned a lot of things to look out for during this trip and just to keep in mind, toiletries, yada, yada. Right. So, yeah.
So you got over there and you got settled in, and then you practice. When did you find out you were going to start the first game?
I found out the day before. So we were doing our skate, just, getting tuned up and ready to go. And coach just tapped me on the pad and said, "You're going." That was Coach Waz, the head coach for Minot. But yeah, just got the go, and I'm just beyond excited. We played the Italian tier 2 pro team or whatever it was out there. Super cool. Great guys on that team. Really enjoyed both teams were excited to play a, team from a different continent. So that was special. And then, definitely tough to sleep that night, getting ready to go play on the international scale. It was special.
Now, it was the obvious question I got to ask you. What was it? A different brand of hockey that you're used to playing against, or is it all the same? I mean, was it their style a little different over there?
I think the toughest two things as a goalie to get used to was the Olympic sheet that we were playing on. So pretty huge sheet. I'm lucky to play Illinois a couple times, each year. So they have their massive sheet out there that, I would compare it to. Their sheet's even a little bit bigger than an Olympic size, but angles are a little different. Puck play behind the net is a little different. They did have the trapezoid rule for us out there, so you can't play pucks in the corners. So NHL style rules. And then the centers also had a weird rule where they weren't able to kick the puck out from face-offs. So if you tie up with your guy, you can't kick the puck back to your team. So there's warnings that would be sent out for that. And then obviously a second warning, just like for the ACHA, it's, it's 2 minutes for delay a game.
Okay.
Shorter glass, but that was more for the players, keeping the puck in, not preventing the delay game in the D zone. But for me personally, the style of play, not too different. I think just fast hockey, each team was a little different in their own way that we went over film with G and the rest of the coaches. But nothing that I could really pick out that was, blow your socks off.
What was your favorite thing that you did off the ice while you were over there?
I'd say going around Torre Police was really cool with the guys, just checking out the restaurants and doing some window shopping, walking around with the guys. I was able to go with my dad to a soccer stadium when we were out near Torino.
Okay.
It was Uventes is the soccer club that they have out there. It's the Allianz Stadium that they have out there. It's a huge soccer club, like top 3 in the world for historical purposes. And that was incredible to kind of see that. We don't have soccer like that in the States. And cool to kind of see the history. My dad and I were Packer fans, so we were kind of comparing the Uventes club to the Packers with how much history they got in the Hall of Fame and whatnot.
Green Bay Packer fan, huh? Wow.
Yes, sir.
Oh, well, I grew up in the Upper Peninsula, so you were either a Packers fan or a Lions fan, and my dad flipped my plate over until I became a Lions fan. So I was a very young man back then. But
Yeah.
Cooper Olson's joining us here from Purdue Northwest, talking about their season so far, and of course his trip over to Torino. I know you obviously wanted a gold medal, but were you happy with the performance of yourself and the team over there?
Yeah, I totally think so. I mean, I'd ride into battle with any of those guys that I played with out there. They're just such a good group of guys. You can tell the coaching staff went above and beyond with the selection of the group, that it was more than just, their play on the ice. We really all gelled together really quick for that amount of time that we were given to, become a team. And yeah, I mean, still in touch with all those guys. Obviously, you always want the gold, and
Sure.
I'm just really happy with how we played in general. Obviously, you want to win the last game, but it was tough competition we had out there. There were some really good teams, and a lot of those guys have been playing together longer than we were, for sure.
I mean, that's
you can't bring it, the excuses into it, but you can't help but think like, man, maybe a couple more months of preparation, or that, because I really feel like that was the squad, like that was the group that I think we needed out there.
Well, you guys had a great lineup of players. There's no doubt about it, but that's a great point you bring up. I mean, you were together, really on the ice for a week before, you headed over to Italy. So yeah, that's obviously an advantage that they had. So, so let's talk about your season at Purdue Northwest. Last year you guys, you had a good run at the Nationals, made it to the quarters, and it was fun to watch. How much of that did you take, Cooper, with you for motivation coming into the year this year?
I'd say quite a bit. I mean, obviously the goal is always to win, but I feel like with our group that we had last year, we didn't lose too many seniors, a couple guys here and there, but I mean, the group that we had, top lines and this and that, like it's the same squad and then some. And so this year we, just expectations keep getting set higher and higher. And yeah, I mean, I feel like the conference win was huge to be able to put that on the belt, but now it's like new season. Let's roll, let's go do it again and then some. So
you play in you play in a gut buster conference. Let's be honest. You guys are knocking the crap out of each other, every week, it seems like. And so that's really going to get you ready when in 6 weeks, good Lord willing, it looked you're sitting in a pretty good spot to get back and to do some damage again. So
100%. Yeah, it's funny you bring the conference up, because we did talk about that. I mean, obviously this group is from guys all over the ACHA with the U.S. team. You get guys talking about, all right, which conference is better? What's the toughest conference? And me, the Adrian boys, and all my teammates were like, man, the GL6, it's got to be the toughest, So
of course,
yeah.
So I got to ask you a question. I don't know if you saw this last night. I don't know if you follow the Red Wings at all. Their second goal that they gave up was off a faceoff in the defensive zone, and I can't remember who was on the faceoff, but he played it behind him, and it bounced off a Mo Sider's stick into the net. Has that ever happened to you as a goaltender?
Not that exact situation. I have had, tips and whatnot off of my own teams, shin pad sticks. It's a tough situation, it's obviously no one means it. So, staying cool, calm, and just, tapping the pad. They feel just as bad as, you feel as a goalie. They kind of get that peek into your life where it's like, yeah, you give one up, it sucks. You gotta turn the page and put it in the closet. It's tough. There have been times where I haven't been too great at putting it in the closet, and I'll remind him the next day, or like, all right, come on, you got to go get one here for the guys.
Well, Todd McClellan must have said something to him after that, because they scored 4 straight and they won. So there
you go. Yep.
It'll be something they can laugh about now, at least.
100%. Yep.
So
100%.
What do you work on, Cooper, now with, like I said, 6 weeks to go before the national tournament? I know you've got the GL tournament coming up the end of February, but what's your mindset right now at this point of the year?
Mindset, just tuning up, making sure, body's always feeling good, watching film, just being a good teammate, I think, is the biggest thing. I think our team, we're pretty young, and, just keeping eyes ahead and, one game at a time. One game at a time is the best way to put it. Can't be looking forward to the current standings too much or what the current setup is in the conference tournament yet. It's really early, so just focus on what you can do at each weekend at a time, each shift at a time, and just reminding all the guys that.
Who's your right? Take a look back at our interview with Cooper Olson, starting goaltender for Purdue Northwest. As it was an interesting chat with him, talking about their trip over to Torino, Italy, for the World University Games, and another memory that he's going to be able to take with him the rest of his life. And these kids, it's a beauty. Another great thing that the ACHA does, giving the players opportunities to be able to do things like this. So, want to really thank Cooper. That was a few weeks ago here on the ACHA Power Play. Just a sample of, if you go back on our YouTube channel, 12 Ounce Sports, you can see all of our interviews that we've taken with players, coaches, administrators, all part of the year that leads up to the national tournament, which again is coming up in St. Louis 23 days from now. Puck drop. It's amazing. So it's the 13th of February rather, and it's going to be here before you know it, and can't wait for that. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to take a quick break here, and we're going to go over the rankings in Division I and Division III, the men and now the women's as well, as we get you set for the national tournament. And then we're going to take a look back at part of our interview with Taylor Costello, the head coach of Eastern Michigan University. They are undefeated. They're going to finish their year undefeated in their opening year as a program in D2 Women's, and they're going to move up to D1, by the way, next year as well. So you're watching the ACHA Power Play right here on 12 Ounce Sports. Welcome back, everybody, to the ACHA Power Play. Again, want to thank Cooper Olson, that interview from a while back, taking time out to talk with us about his travels over in Torino, Italy. All right, we went through the D2 regional tournament, the rankings, the setups for the regionals in all four regions this weekend. The West starts Thursday, the Northeast, the Southeast, and the Central start on Friday, and they go through Sunday. It's a 3-day tournament. Winner go home. The top two teams in each region already get their auto berths. They're getting their teams focused now for the national tournament in St. Louis. Now it is that D2 tournament, by the way, is going to the D2 tournament itself starts on March the 14th and runs through the 18th. The men's D1 program tournament that starts on the 13th. That kicks everything off. So we went through those regional brackets for the complete listing of all those tournaments, or the matchups for the regional tournaments. Make sure you go to achahockey.org and hit the Division II tab on the men's side, or actually hit the events tab. It'll take you to the regional tournaments, and you can get all the information you need right there for all the tournament matchups. All right, let's get back to the rankings now, as we take a look at the men's D1 rankings. And the latest rankings we have, again, Minot State, number 1. They went to Ohio this past weekend, by the way, and split with Ohio. So these teams near the top playing each other all the time. Nevada, Las Vegas, they're ranked second. Minot, by the way, ranked number 1 in the country. UNLV, they've already got their ticket punched out of their conference. They're ranked number 2. They're going to the national tournament. Ohio is 3. Liberty is 4th. Jamestown is 5. Adrian is 6th. Drury is 7th. Niagara is 8th. Utah is 9th. Maryville is 10th. Calvin is at 11. Grand Canyon is 12. Mary is at 13. Indiana Tech 14. Arizona and Midland are 15 and 16. Then you've got Arizona State 17th, Purdue Northwest 18th, Oklahoma is 19th, Pittsburgh 20th, Oswego State is at 21, Colorado is at 22, Stony Brook is at 23, and Grand Valley is at 24. Grand Valley right on the cut line. They've got a weekend set. This is where they can make some hay, but they've got to take on the defending national champions, that being Adrian College, in a home and home this week. Thursday and Friday, I believe, are those matchups for those two teams. So the regular season winding down. Now, the teams that aren't in Division II on the men's side, they're going to start their tournament matchups, their conference tournaments, if you will, here in the next week or two. So we're going to see some really cool matchups, especially at the D3 level, but in the D1 level as well. There are some conference tournaments coming up. And the auto bids for automatic berths for conference champions are coming up too. And so ideally in D1, you want to finish probably around 19 just to be safe, maybe 20, because there are teams that aren't ranked that are going to get in. One conference that is going to send somebody to the national tournament is the Great Lakes Collegiate Hockey League, and they don't have anybody ranked in the top 24. And I got a feeling, I know in their conference tournament coming up this weekend, Northwood is a pretty heavy favorite in that one. So we'll keep an eye on them too. So speaking of Division I and the national tournament, the D1 National Reveal Show is going to be next Tuesday at 9 o'clock Eastern time on achahockey.org. And yours truly, I'm going to be one of the co-hosts along with Rhett McGivern. It's going to be a lot of fun. 9 o'clock Eastern time. We're going to reveal all the matchups. First time it's going to be a reveal show. We're going to have live look-ins with some watch parties. We're going to have some guests for the show, coaches and players or whatnot. So make sure you tune into that 9 o'clock Eastern time next week on Tuesday for the ACHA Division I National Tournament Reveal Show. It's going to be so much fun. Can't wait to be a part of that a week from tonight, Tuesday. And so it's on the 25th of March, 9 o'clock Eastern time. Make sure that you tune in for that. You'll get all the latest of the Division I tournament, all the matchups, who gets the first round bye, the top 8 teams, obviously, in Division I. It's a 24-team single elimination tournament. They get the byes right there as well. Okay, real quick, let's go to the men's Division III rankings, the latest ones that we have. Air Force Academy, number 1 in the country. Oakland at number 2. Hope at number 3. Lawrence Tech at 4. Those might change a little bit. Lawrence Tech swept Oakland over the weekend, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Lawrence Tech clinched the regular season Michigan Collegiate Hockey Conference Championship, so they're automatically going to the Nationals, although all 4 of those teams I know are going. Notre Dame is 5. Grand Valley is 6. Colby is at 7. Calvin at 8. UMass at 9. Central Maine at 10. Michigan State at 11. Arizona State at 12. Colorado School of the Mines at 13. Sacred Heart at 14. Maryville at 16. Purdue at 16. And Wentworth is at 17. So those top 16 go to the national tournament, as I mentioned. And there's a big conference tournament that's going to help some seeding maybe with the Michigan Collegiate Hockey Conference tournament coming up starting in a week and a half. So that's going to be one to keep an eye on as well. So their final ranking will be coming out on March 2nd. So they've still got some time yet. Their tournament starts on March the 18th down in St. Louis. So they'll have time to get set after the final 16 teams are, and we'll preview that as well for you with that tournament starting about 6 days after the Division I matchups start down in St. Louis. So, all right, let's now turn our attention. We had a chance to talk with, we mentioned before the break, Eastern Michigan, their women's team started their program this year, and they've got they're off to just a gangbuster start. All freshmen on the team. We had a chance to chat earlier in the year with head coach Taylor Costello, and she is the head coach of Eastern Michigan Eagles D2 program. They finished this year undefeated. So let's take a look back at that conversation. All right. Without any further ado, let's see if we can welcome in our next guest. She is the head coach of Eastern Michigan's women's D2 hockey team, currently ranked number 1 in the Central region, Taylor Costello. Taylor, thanks for taking time out to be with us. How are you tonight?
No problem. And good. How are you?
I'm great. Wow. I know your season's not over, but I want to congratulate you. Great start so far on the regular season.
Yeah, thank you. It's been fun. It's been definitely a ride, and I don't think a lot of people expect it. So it's been pretty fun so far.
So take us through. This is your first year, right? If I'm not mistaken, I said it right. First year as a program, correct?
Right.
In the ACHA?
Yes.
So give us a quick timeline on, when they decided to have the team, and how long it took you to get the team together, recruiting the players, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, we started pretty much a year ago from February, and we pretty much went straight into recruiting, and it was myself and my wife, associate head coach Leah, and we pretty much just decided, there was another, reason for us to want to build a team here in Michigan, and it was to give girls an opportunity to play and go to school, at a school and a hockey team that they want to go to. I was unfortunate and fortunate in ways of having options, but none felt like the right fit for me. So, I wanted to be able to give those opportunities to the girls. So, like I said, we started in February of last year, and pretty much started right away recruiting. And from there, it just kind of took off. We put ourselves out there, and we really kind of just were vulnerable, to be honest with you, of we're going to do this and we're going to go all in or nothing at all. So we just kind of went all in, and we had a lot of recruiting from, online, a lot of Instagram, a lot of Live Barn and NCSA, recruiting profiles and things like that. And, we just started reaching out to some girls that we were watching film from. And from there, it kind of just took off and skyrocketed, to be honest with you.
Have you had any time to rest since February?
No, not really, but it's been really exciting. We also coach a tier team here, Big B, AAA 19U. So it was kind of one of those things where we're also already at tournaments and showcases. So the recruiting became a little bit easier when we were in season for Big B. But pretty much we just, like I said, we just kind of dove headfirst into it and kind of just went all in.
So you decided February to do it, and you got the team set. Mm-hmm. How difficult was it scheduling other teams to play you?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it wasn't as difficult as I thought it would be. So, February of last year, technically, and coming up to, that 1 year mark of last February, we were already recruited a decent chunk of kids, and we were ready to kind of roll into what we wanted to be going into. So we just started reaching out to some local teams, just saying, we're not sure exactly what our team's going to look like numbers wise, but we have enough to play, and we want to, reach out and start scheduling games. And we'll keep you updated, obviously, if we can get to the point where we feel like we're, more competitive and stuff. And I think it was something that we had only 4 or 5 girls committed at the time. We were already reaching out. And so we had the bare minimum, I think 6 actually, because that's the bare minimum you need to play. And we were like, we're going to just start scheduling games the best we can. Pretty much from there, that was when we started having more and more recruits. And then, we were reaching out to, like I said, mostly local teams within 2 hours from us. Yeah. Most of them were really easy to get a hold of. And, I know a lot of them are busy. So they did have some conflicts that some teams couldn't play us, but pretty much every team that had the availability was willing to play us, which was awesome.
Well, that's great. That's what I love about the hockey community, Taylor. It's just they come together to help each other. Yeah. And so that had to make you feel pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. They're very supportive. We have a lot of people that we chat with throughout the season, and a lot of pointers and tips and helpful, faces along the way. And it's been really great so far.
So I am impressed with another thing. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you've got 10 girls on your team, right?
Yes.
I mean, they have got to be just in shape. Their cardio has got to be amazing.
We try. I think we always want them to be better, obviously, but I think they do have really good cardio. Their stamina is really good. I think it's something that we do a lot of conditioning and practices. They do workouts Monday through Thursday, and they're working out an extra 10 minutes at the end of just conditioning alone. So, we try to skate every practice. And by the end of it, at the end of every week, you're probably getting a good 60, 70 minutes of conditioning a week. So wow. They're skating a lot. We had 7 skaters for 9 out of our 10 first semester games. and the 18 age rule was an issue for one of our girls, so she couldn't play until our last game of the semester. So yeah, we had only 7 skaters and we were still doing, really well. And it was impressive to see them just kind of go out there and, the first game, obviously a little nervous. They were a little kind of like, oh man, can we hang with them because of our legs, or we're just gonna be tired. And, we played CMU and they had a full roster and we only had, like I said, 7 skaters and 2 goalies. So, we as coaches had the full confidence in them to be able to do what they needed to do. But it is one of those things of like, you look down the other side and you're like, yeah, they have 20 girls and we only have 10. Their legs are going to start to get tired. And, even if their skill is awesome, it's something that's really tough if you start getting tired and, you start having, mental mistakes and physical mistakes. Right.
So how about you? Your first regular season game, how nervous were you?
I mean, honestly, it was almost like it wasn't really like a nervousness that I would have, obviously, from like playing. It was more of just that kind of excitement and just ready to kind of see what they can do. And, we were practicing for a little while before that. So I was pretty confident in their skill. We always tell the girls, they're all chosen for a reason. We hand selected every single one of them for a reason. And so skill wise, we're always confident in anything and everything that they can do. And it wasn't really nerves. It was more so of just that excitement to let them go out there and just do their thing. Cause I know that they can do whatever they set their mind to.
Well, obviously they're off to a great start. You guys are 11-0-1. To me, it always starts at the back end, and you've got Alexis Humphreys and Reese Doty just putting up phenomenal numbers. I mean, the goals against and save percentage are obviously lights out.
Yeah, no, they're 2 fantastic goaltenders. I couldn't ask for anyone better. That was actually something Leah and I were talking about the other day of like, we couldn't imagine this season with any other goalies just because they are phenomenal. And it's something where I can blindly trust either one of them. I don't have to second guess, who I'm going to get in that net. I can, just fully rotate them through and feel comfortable doing so.
So what has been the biggest surprise on the good side for you guys, for your gals in that first semester that you maybe weren't expecting?
Yeah, well, that's a good one. I mean, honestly, I think just them bonding as well as they did so quickly. I think that was surprising for us as a coaching staff because, I mean, they're all freshmen. None of them know each other at all. Wow. It's not like any of them played together or lived that close to each other that they really knew each other. So we did, some team bonding the first week of classes, and we got on campus with them, and all of a sudden they're like just completely glued to each other's hips and just super like just perfect family like atmosphere, which we preach that for our culture. And it was something that was very surprising that it was so quick and easy for them to just kind of jump into that philosophy that we put forward of family first. And it was amazing to see, and they've kind of really embodied that whole, like I said, family first philosophy that we thrive for our culture. And I think it's something that it's really helped them through those moments of, yeah, my legs are completely gone and I can't give anymore, but I'm going to look down that bench at maybe that 1 or 2 other girl and I'm going to be like, I'm going to do it for them. And so they really dive into that, and it's great to see.
So wait a minute, you're telling me that this whole team is made up of freshmen?
Yes. Yeah, they're all freshmen.
So not only is this their first year playing, collegiate hockey, but it's their first year at a college. And that type of, off the ice adjustment, and they're doing this well. And that to me, I'm shocked. I'm at a loss on that. That is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely shocking to, I think.
I love it.
Yeah, people like hear the 10 and then they go, wait, but that's only 8 skaters, 2 goalies. And then they go, wait, and you're all freshmen. And you can just see their wheels are spinning in their head when we talk to them about it, like, how is that even possible that they're doing as well as they are? And that was something that, like, I said in the beginning of, like, I know there was a lot of doubt from people watching us of, like, you're not going to be able to do much with 10 girls, like, and all freshmen. What are you going to do with that? Like, that's going to be really tough for you guys. And we've always told the girls, like, everybody's going to expect us to lose, so let's come out and prove them otherwise.
So they're normal, they're human, just like you and I. I'm sure they're looking at the rankings. They see you're ranked number 1.
Yes.
How hard is it to keep them focused, even though they see that that they're number 1?
I mean, sometimes practices can get a little, unfocused. We actually had a few the other day that were going, oh my goodness, we got to kind of rein them in. So, we have those moments for sure. Like you said, we're human. Even as coaches, we have those moments of like, we're out here, we're having fun. But at the end of the day, like, yes, we need to, rein it in, make sure we're focused on the next, game, the next set, and make sure that we're truly putting everything we have into every practice. So that way, when the games come on the weekend, we're ready.
And of course, that was Taylor Costella, the head coach of Eastern Michigan University. Still, as of tonight, anyways, they're ranked number 1 in the Central Region. We're going to go over those Division II rankings here in a moment. They finished their regular season undefeated, so congratulations to them as they look to embark, hopefully for them, on a trip to the national tournament as well. All right, let's see if we can't bring those rankings up. Let's take a look at the rankings. First of all, in Division II for the women, in the Central Region, it's going to be number 1 Eastern Michigan, number 2 Sioux College, number 3 Ohio State, number 4 Central Michigan, number 5 Northern Michigan, number 6 Lawrence Tech. Top 4 teams in that region will go to the national tournament. In the Northeast region, it right now Northeastern ranked number 1, Boston University ranked number 2, Boston College 3, St. Anselm 4, and Vermont 5. The top 4 in that division or that region go to the national tournament. In the Southeast, now they get 5 teams out of this region that go to the national tournament. Liberty number 1, the Naval Academy number 2, Villanova number 3, Niagara number 4, and Mercyhurst at number 5. So Niagara holding on to a chance to have 3 teams out of that university going to the national tournament. Niagara's women's D1 team, they're ranked 8th right now in the country. Anna Quattro's team playing, or 9th rather. They're playing pretty well. They're looking pretty good to go to the national tournament. Still, we've got some time yet, but it looks like they may have a pretty good chance of going. And of course, Tom Meridian's team, number 8 in Division I, they're definitely going to be heading to the national tournament. And finally, in the West, they get 3 teams that will go. And so far, Assiniboine is ranked number 1. Wisconsin is 2. St. Thomas is at 3. And then Dakota College Bottineau is 4. Iowa State at 5. So the top 3 in that division or that region will go to the national tournament. And finally, in the women's rankings, the newest ones, we've got Liberty at 1, Adrian at 2, Maryville at 3, McKendree at 4, Midland at 5, Minot State at 6, Indiana Tech at 7, U of M Dearborn at 8, Niagara is at 9, Miami's at 10, Arizona State is 11, Michigan is at 12, and Lindenwood is at 13. So pretty tight for 12 and 13 right now for that last berth into the national tournament. And remember, there are 3 auto bids for the rankings in the women's D1. So just to be safe, you kind of want to be in that top 9, top 10 to get one last berth in the national tournament. So there you go. There's the rankings for all 5 divisions. And again, we talked about it. The D2 men's regionals start this weekend. It's kind of what our focus is tonight. Is this is really kind of the first step to get towards the national tournament as far as winner go home style. This is where it really starts to get interesting. And by this time next week, we will know all 16 teams that are going to be in the men's Division II national tournament, which starts on the 14th of March, which is a Friday. I'll be down there to St. Louis for the whole 2-week span. Can't wait to get there for that. And so it's really going to be a lot of fun. And by the way, I'll be again at Evansville bringing you the broadcast of that Southeast Regional starting on Friday through Sunday down there. So again, that's going to be a lot of fun as well. All right. We thank you very much for welcoming us into your homes, on your computers, your televisions, however you're watching us around the world here on 12 Ounce Sports and the ACHA Power Play. Until next time, until next week, Captain Lou saying keep your heads up, keep your sticks down, keep your feet moving, and as always, keep your minds open. And again, the road to St. Louis is less than 3 weeks away, 22 days. That's it, 23 days to puck drop. And it's just going to be a fun time. This is the exciting time of year. And we're glad that we've been able to be a part of it here on 12 Ounce Sports and the ACHA Power Play. Oh, yeah, one more reminder. Join me a week from tonight, 9 o'clock on achahockey.org for the D1 Men's Reveal Show, where we're going to bring you the pairings for the national tournament in Division I for the men's, 9 o'clock Eastern time. Join me for that as well on achahockey.org. All right, until next time, Captain Lou saying so long. Thanks for joining us here on 12 Ounce Sports and the ACHA Power.